Hello, hello. We're ready to get started. Welcome to another exciting Off the Chain AMA. I'm your host, Kelechi eBay, and thank you for joining us today. Today we'll be exploring the very fascinating topic regarding the recent surge and rise in Bitcoin ordinals sales. In the past week, two Bitcoin ordinals have skyrocketed to the top three in NFT sales volume, surpassing renowned blue chip NFTs like Bored API Club and CryptoPunks. So, what could be driving this surge in interest, sudden surge in interest, and could Bitcoin potentially surpass Ethereum as the leading platform for NFT sales? All these and more will be covered in today's AMA. We have an astounding lineup of Bitcoin experts and builders with experience in Bitcoin ordinals who will be sharing their valuable insights and experiences with us today. Joining us today, we have Misue Tran, ZenGuardian at Mokugyo NFT. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We have Vickaash Agarwal, the founder of Bluewheel Mining. We have Harraz Abdel, the founder of Deep Lake. We have Ray, who is the marketing manager at Chamcha Ordinals. And we have Mush, an advisor at Bluewheel Mining. Before we get started, I would like to read our disclaimer. The information provided is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, we make no representation or warranty of any kind, expressed or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of such information. The statements or opinions expressed in this event are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of Bitmart or its affiliates and shall not be considered professional financial investment advice. All cryptocurrency investments are highly speculative in nature and involve substantial risk of loss. Past hypothetical or simulated performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The value of digital currencies can go up or down, and there can be substantial risk in buying, selling, holding, or trading digital currencies. You should carefully consider whether trading or holding digital currencies is suitable for you based on your personal investment objectives, financial circumstances, and risk tolerance. With that covered, also before we begin, we would like to remember our audience of our ongoing Learn to Earn program. For those of you who don't know, we launched a Learn to Earn program 2 weeks ago, which is essentially a unique NFT-based initiative designed for our loyal off-the-chain AMA listeners. In this program, you can earn our stamp NFTs by participating in Bitmart's online AMAs and various learning events, both online and offline. And these stamp NFTs serve as proof of attendance and engagement. So as a reminder, the stamp NFTs are not tradable. However, they hold tremendous value because for every 3 stamp NFTs you collect, you can exchange them for a special NFT called Learn to Earn Time Capsule NFTs. These time capsule NFTs symbolizes the experiences that you've gained as a listener of the Off-the-Chain AMA. And unlike the stamp NFTs, the time capsule NFTs are actually tradable on the Bitmart NFT marketplace and can contain prices worth up to 50 USDT. You can choose to open your stamp NFTs, in which case the 3 stamp NFTs you've acquired will be burned, or you can list and trade them and trade the time capsule NFTs on the Bitmart NFT marketplace. So for instructions on how to do this, please check out the pinned tweets provided in this Twitter space to learn how to collect your stamp NFTs. But remember, stamp NFTs are only eligible to listeners who stay for at least 30 minutes and who fill out the Gleam form provided in the pinned tweet. So, and now, without any further ado, let's kick off today's AMA. Let's start with a brief introduction, starting with Misue. Misue, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, your project?
GM, guys. You can call me by Sue, Sue, and I'm from ZenGuardian from Mokugyo. This is a word from Japanese. Yeah. And firstly, I would like to introduce the Mokugyo. And what is it and how we can pronounce Mokugyo, right? Actually, when I discovered the wooden fish called Mokugyo, and it's blowing my mind. Mokugyo is not just an NFT, it's a lifestyle, and we decide to brainstorm and develop our product and make sure this is a light NFT project that's blend minigame, memes, events, and make an AI Buddha. We would like to adapt the AI technology in a wooden fish, and it offers a peaceful and relaxing NFT experience with cross-platform, cross-chain, and cross-NFT artifacts in an unique feature. It's like a, it's like a fresh break of peace and relaxation in the Web3 world. And with the AI product, they can chat with you, inspire you, and support you spiritually. And the interoperable NFT also are special NFTs that work on different platforms. I mean the cross-chain and game. And for the big news is on July 17 on the next Monday, Mokugyo NFT, the first ordinal collection will be minting with 555 rare NFT, and I absolutely cannot wait to grab one. I'm eager and to have an insightful conversation with the AI Buddha, shock in the wisdom, humor, and fight tranquility is going on to be amazing experience. And the first ordinal collection, we call it Mokugyo PTC, and they are the temple founders with a secret message behind them, call it in the world of Mokugyo lie is truth. And if they become the holder, the first holder, they also have OG roof, alpha asset, and Arab. Besides, not only that, but there are more excitement in Mokugyo. They will come with a cool minigame that's promise fun, challenge, and rewarding experience. Um, um, Last but not least, one of things that surely to me with Mokugyo is not confirm the single chain or metaverse, and we can explore different platforms in the next time, exploring a various virtual platform and expand its impact. The possibility are endless, and it's just too awesome to ignore. Yeah, that's in Mokugyo. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you for that overview about Mokugyo. Very exciting to see that you guys are actually building like an interoperable NFT across different, different blockchain. And I guess that ties into some kind of the metaverse narrative that we've been hearing in the past couple of months and years. So very exciting, and thank you for joining us again. Next we'll pass it over to Vickaash.
Yeah, hi guys. Good morning from Dubai. I'm Vickaash Agarwal from Bluewheel Mining. To introduce myself, I've been a Bitcoin miner since 2021, and we operate almost 10 megawatts of Bitcoin mining operations with 3,000 ASIC pods. We are coming up with ordinals for Bitcoin mining, which will be backed by hash rate, and ordinal holders get their share of Bitcoin revenue every day from the blocks directly to the Bitcoin smart contract. So interesting to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us today. Very interesting. I can't wait to hear your insights into the Bitcoin ordinals. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it over to Harraz.
Hello guys, thank you for having me today in that space. My name is Harraz Abdel, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Plague Finance. And at Deep Lake, we are building smart contracts infrastructure on L1 using things that are primitive to Bitcoin, like Taproot and DLCs, to bring financial instruments to the Bitcoin chain to be able to build all of the DeFi solutions that Bitcoin is poised to have. So yeah, excited to be here, and thank you for having us.
And thank you for joining us. It's very nice to have somebody, building, in the Bitcoin ecosystem. In this case, like you said, doing stuff with Taproots and obviously bringing some DeFi elements into the Bitcoin ecosystem. So very, very exciting. And thank you for joining us today. Next, we're gonna pass it over to Ray.
Hey, it's Ray. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm the marketing manager of Chamcha Ordinals. So, Chamcha Ordinals is a platform that committed to build a reliable infrastructure for the liquidity of ordinal assets. Right now, we aim to provide diverse service, and in Ordinals, right now, we support inscribing and trading in BRC20 and BRC721, and we have inscription tools and staking functions that will coming soon. And also, our goal is really to focus on a step-by-step approach to build underlying core modules around insurance of new assets and long-term assets, and also very important feature, the programmable liquidity in Ordinal ecosystem. So yeah, thanks for inviting me to this AMA. I'm really excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Very, very exciting overview about what you guys do, providing liquidity to ordinals, subscription tools, like you said, that is coming soon. Very, very exciting. Thank you for joining us today. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Mush.
Hey, what's up, guys? Evening from Canada. I think I'm the only one that's in the evening space at the moment. I've been in crypto for a while now. I think I joined 2018. Got pretty heavily involved within NFTs on Solana, Polygon, and now I've kind of worked my way over to Ordinals. Worked with quite a few projects, and I'm just excited to integrate myself into the ecosystem and really get to know people and what they're kind of doing. I think there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes with the Ordinals that will really push this forward, but we'll get into that later.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. I'm also I'm in the US. This is the evening time for me as well. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to hearing some of your insights. You're obviously an NFT OG. You've been here for quite a while now. So thank you for joining us. Let's jump right in. According to data from Crypto Slam, in the last 7 days, we've seen 2 Bitcoin ordinals kind of emerge among the top 3 in NFT sales volume, surpassing blue chip NFTs, such as Bored Ape Yacht Club, Azuki, CryptoPunks, Captains, and the Gods. What do you think is the reason behind this surge of interest in Bitcoin ordinals? I'll start with Sue.
Okay, lady first, right? Okay, first.
Yep, ladies first.
Yeah. Okay, firstly, I just want to clear some information again about the Crypto Slam data. I think it looks like they are 2 BTC collections that are small more than basic NFT, but neither of them are a standalone BTC collection. One of them, I think, is called the uncategorized ordinals, and the other are the token on BRC20. It's not alone the NFT collection on ordinals. And of course, recently the BTC collection trading market on Uniswap has opened up, right? And some collections have seen an increase in trading volume now, but now as much as you might expect, according to Penny Slot data checking. The top collection like OMP, Bitcoin Frost, and top ordinal pairs only make 100 BTC in 7 days, which is around $3 million. And the reason behind to the certain this is also the reason why we choose the Mokugyo launch on the first Mokugyo NFT launch on the Ordinal. Firstly, for our builder or for our user on Web3 we believe in crypto, right? And somehow have a natural instinct to have a fail in BTC. It's super excited to participate in the first evolution in BTC space brought by Ordinals. Secondly, the whole on-chain data stock bring immutability and a stronger sense of ownership, leading to more tightly bonded community. Next, move on the passionate people along with the helping atmosphere. We try to reach and also have a mix some influencer and other big project that sort of and that's interact for our NFT collection and help us expand our community. And I believe with the good atmosphere in our chain now, they will support a lot on the next time for Ordinals market. And important thing, I think it's important thing, this is the ever evolving technology attracts us as well, because when we are thinking about the recursive encryption technology, we can sharing about the facility is expand and collaboration by allowing NFT company with interact with other NFT from other projects like II Moonbus before on the Solana. Yeah, that's why I think almost people FOMO and move on Ordinal market now. Yeah, this is my truth for the some data trend and market.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Very insightful. Yeah, I'd like to pass the same question over to Vickaash.
Yeah, hi. So I think most of the people coming on Ordinals to buy don't understand the utility of Ordinals, and it is more about FOMO or being a first mover advantage. So CryptoPunks and a lot of other inceptions have already come to Ordinals, which are a throwaway price. So there's a kind of psychological FOMO which creates people to move everyone going and buying on Ordinals. So if you see the Ordinals transactions in Dune dashboard, there was a time it went to very high and again it has come down now. So the volume are surging, but it is more of a FOMO. But I personally believe Ordinals are something very new and unique because the metadatas are directly stored on the Bitcoin network. Whereas in NFTs, the metadata, there are certain contents which are on blockchain. Otherwise, the rest metadatas are stored off chain, which can be tampered or played around. So, Ordinal seems to be some very exciting nowadays.
Yeah, that's a very great point. Yeah, FOMO is always the factor, and yeah, what you said about inscribing on the Bitcoin blockchain. Obviously, it's a reason why a lot of, I guess, diehard like Bitcoin proponents maybe looking into owning inscribing some NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. Obviously to get that first mover advantage, like you said. So very insightful. I'd like to hear what Harraz have to say.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of FOMO, but also there is a lot of willingness, and people are wanting to explore new places. I think that a lot of people in the blockchain ecosystem were like awaiting for a new infrastructure to be able to use Bitcoin and have access to solutions like what we have in Ethereum. And yeah, Ordinals, they just came in at the perfect time. Like they were the perfect solution and the perfect answer for that, people being in wait mode. And yeah, this opened a whole new experimentation space and world for to use on the Bitcoin chain. And the fact that all of these solutions that we are seeing now, making access to this kind of new technology simpler and simplifying that for them, just makes adoption a lot easier and a lot better. So this is why we are seeing this influx into ordinals for all of these guys that were using this kind of technology and solution on Ethereum and other chains. They are coming to Bitcoin today to trade, profit from arbitrage between assets, and to get the most out of the capital that they have. So yeah, there is a blue ocean of experimentation that I'm feeling people are looking for, and they are finding that in Ordinals and BTC. And there's a lot of things to be built. So yeah, people are here for that.
Yeah, I think you touched on a very key point there. That is the tooling and the infrastructure actually improving. To make room for the people who are from other ecosystems like Ethereum to come into to Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin playground to actually explore what's happening. I think tooling is playing a key role in that in that onboarding of interest into the Bitcoin ordinal space. So that's a very, very good point. I'd like to pass the same question to Ray.
Yeah, sure. I completely agree that FOMO and tooling will be the points contribute to the big sales in Bitcoin NFT projects. Besides that, I think there are two features that I think that will contribute to it as well. It's all about the scarcity and permanence, as well as the way brought up by inscribing the ordinal ecosystem. What to begin with, scarcity or rarity really makes Bitcoin NFTs very valuable. Well, it's a universal law. A limited number of assets makes, or allowed holders to really enjoy high investment returns and social status, right? You the first one to own the BTC NFT, and it's really weird. It's gonna be really cool, and also that brings the potential to adapt the investment values. And in addition, the way to inscribe, it's really, really cool because that really support to fully record assets or fully store information on the chain. That's something that I have never seen on the other chain, honestly. That leads to another factor. I'm going to talk about the permanence. Here, in this case, which refers to the permanent storage on the Bitcoin chain, that explain the project can exist forever and continue to bring value to the holders in the future. Like in the ordinal ecosystem, Inscribe really allows information or the metadata to be fully stored on the chain. And this permanence brings more investment and return opportunities, as well as greater security and trust for the holders. So in general, I believe scarcity and permanence, the two features really contribute to the big success of BTC NFT projects.
Yeah, I think those are two very, very important aspects to all this, right? Like you said, social status will always be play a huge role. Being one of the first to actually mint a Bitcoin NFT. That I think 10 years from now, just the same way like mining Bitcoin was not taken too seriously, but now you're kind of like an OG, get some kind of respect for actually being that early in that journey, and actually doing inscribing NFTs in the Bitcoin blockchain just feels that way. It feels like you're very early, and that comes with social status, like you said. And I think another thing you brought up, permanence is actually a very good idea, very good point too, because I feel like when it comes to Ethereum, like there's a lot of infrastructure that is being built to kind of ensure permanence, like things like Artweave, for example, to ensure like the, I guess the traits and metadata and everything is kind of permanent. But I think with Bitcoin, that kind of comes, with the, with the package. And so that again, it's a very, very key point, that you brought up. So thank you for sharing that. I'm going to pass it over to Mush.
A lot of good things said, that's for sure. So one thing that I do want to touch on is Bitcoin does have like one of the strongest communities. Like they're the OGs, if you will. You know what I mean? Like before anything else, there was Bitcoin. So now what you have is something that wasn't available 6 months ago, 8 months ago. Like this wasn't a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it really wasn't a thing. So now you have a way to tie in ordinals or NFTs or whatever you want to call them on top of the chain, adding even more utility. So when you add these ordinals or these NFTs on top of a chain, what you can actually do is you can provide IRL utility, right? So for like instance, like Bluewheel mining, right? They have a miners set up, 365 set up for their ordinal holders, right? That are going to be airdropping BTC daily to them. You're going to have a lot more projects that come out that aren't just based off of the inscriptions and the art, which is really, really cool, right? And that's like kind of like the Rolex watch, if you will, if you have an uncommon compared to like a pizza tray, right? So like you're going to have those kind of things pop out and come out, but then you're also going to have these communities that start to arise and build together and even form a tighter knit community. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Right, we're seeing a lot more action happen on these ordinals because you have these communities coming in. You have these people that are bullish on Bitcoin that can show off in a cool, artistic way and express themselves at the same time. And then you also have the utility aspect coming into it too, with everything else that's going to be tied into it in the future. Right, Bitcoin is one of the safest. Like, do your own research, obviously, like not financial advice, but it's been around the longest. Right, it's been around the longest. So for me, if I'm investing personally into a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is the safest bet because it's been here. It's outlasted all of them. So now you have this new type of tech that's come out onto Bitcoin. And now all the OGs are getting excited about it and they're starting to look into it. And then you have all these new users that didn't think that this was actually possible from ETH, Polygon, Solana. And they're all looking at this and going, we want to come over too. So a lot of the eyes, especially with the smart money, are really looking at this and looking at it in a way where what's the future utility? Not just like what's going on right now, but what's the future utility? And I think that's why we're seeing quite a bit of volume happen on these marketplaces. And you know what else we're seeing is some friendly competition between these marketplaces, where we're having different utilities drop for different projects on these different marketplaces. And they're working with the projects to help bring them forward. So I think like the next step like really is just solidifying the community within ordinals and then embracing each other and bringing each other up. Because once that happens, well, now you have like, I don't even know how many people hold Bitcoin, but now you have a whole bunch of people that are working together and supporting it. Because if Bitcoin didn't have the community that it has today, you wouldn't be seeing Bitcoin prices at what they're at, right? The OGs that held through all of the BS, all of the lies, all of that kind of stuff, and really understood the tech and how it could be implemented IRL, those are the guys that kind of led the way and brought it here. So now we're just kind of going into more of a mass adoption phase, I think, where the next few years are going to be looked at more of a mass adoption and bringing in new users, bringing in Web 2 onto Web 3. And a really cool way to do that is with art and tying into utility with it. So I think that's why we're starting to see it. And then you also have all these, like I said earlier, Solana projects, Polygon projects, ETH projects moving over to ordinals as well. And they know how to provide utility into these these NFTs, right? Or these ordinals that they're releasing. So now everybody's just kind of trying to jump on the train, I think, and get there ahead of time. And then now everybody's kind of going to be fighting for like, the uncommons and the rares and the Satoshis and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really exciting times. And I think it just comes down to more education and then community building. And that's really where I see like the forefront kind of pushing forward, if you will, to the next stages for Bitcoin and ordinals.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think you touched on a lot of good points there. Bitcoin being the strongest community, right out of the bat, no one can argue that, and having NFTs, come into that blockchain will always obviously get a lot of interest. So yeah, like Harraz said, getting that tooling and getting all that infrastructure built was a key part to, getting people to start, exploring, the blockchain, even more, and exploring, NFTs on the blockchain even more. And another point you brought up that I thought was very, very, insightful was the utility aspect of it as well. Like you said, having an NFT collection where, part of the utility is, actually getting BTC airdrop to you. I think that's a very, very exciting utility for, Bitcoin, I won't say max, I guess Bitcoin maxis, right? Just getting free Bitcoin, just for holding an NFT. I think that's a very good utility. And Bitcoin, I guess globally not seen as a security, at least, adding that utility of actually getting airdropped tokens or holding an NFT is actually very, very appealing. So excellent points there. And also the point you brought about, people from other ecosystems, Solana, Ethereum, obviously, even like Cardano, which is, has the UTXO model similar to Bitcoin, is also drawing, we've seen a lot of people, with interest, looking into Bitcoin ordinals as well. So excellent points. So, right next to the next question, so when it comes to NFTs, we all know that Ethereum, remains the dominant player. However, do you see a future where Bitcoin overtakes Ethereum in terms of NFT sales volume? Let's start with Sue again.
So is the first person to reply, or you guys? As you mentioned before, and I has already hearing some sharing about Mush and other guys here. In my opinion, it's not going to be easy in the short term because the current Bitcoin network has a scalability issue, such as like that has gas fee, and maybe it will be affect the trading and use of NFTs. However, now we have a show, and we have a news protocol like recursive encryption, BRC69 or PRC20s, and more layer 2 networking emerging. And as the technologies become more widespread and developed, and maybe I think Bitcoin has a chance surpass Ethereum in the future. Yeah, it's my expectation for this. Really expectation. Yes, exciting.
Yeah, I think you brought up one very, very important thing when it comes to this whole, Bitcoin, ordinals, and that's the BRC69, which actually I think will help with some of the scaling issues, that, the Bitcoin network faced when ordinals just came into the scene. The network was clogged, transaction fees was through the roof, so the BRC69, which is something that is, I think will play a significant role into the, Bitcoin, hopefully, I personally, I don't know if it's going to surpass Ethereum in the Ethereum NFT sales volume, but things like BRC69 is a very, very, will play a key component into, making that happen. So I'm really, really glad that you brought that up, Sue. I'll pass the same question over to Vickaash.
I believe Bitcoin network has its own scarcity. So normally inceptions happens on the block and its block size are limited. So there will be around 1.5 million blocks would be mined in total, and 800,000 have already been mined. So there is going to be a scarcity of ordinals, obviously, on Bitcoin network, because it is immutable. You cannot delete the records once incepted, or the data have been inscribed. Uh, in in return, the NFTs in other chains are immutable, are a kind of immutable, like uh, NFTs being worked on EVM chain. If something happens to the EVM chains of records, the NFT also gets affected. But those have much more scalar. It can be scaled in higher volumes. The numbers are limited. So Bitcoin ordinals on Bitcoin network are going to be scarer, more scarce. So there has to the volumes would purge, the value would purge, and it's tough to comment on the volume because it can keep going up, keep down, keep coming down. Ethereum and Solana have crossed 80 billion dollars volume till date for the NFT sales, but it's going to be scarcer and it's going to be much more valuable and usable. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that insight. Yeah, I think the scarcity factor will all obviously play a role when it comes to Bitcoin. Whether that's ends up being a factor that could lead to Bitcoin surpassing Ethereum in sales volume, that's yet to be seen. But yeah, thank you for providing that insight. Yeah, Harraz, I'll pass the same question to you.
Um, yeah, honestly, right now, uh, this is a very difficult question for me. I'm not able to like have a say regarding who's going to be the winner or the bigger player in the ordinal or NFT space. So like one of the things that I'm thinking about will be the blockchain with the better experience, user experience for artists, creators, and traders. Maybe that will help get more adoption and get more influx of people that want to use this kind of technology. But also, I'm biased a little bit toward Bitcoin because, like Mush said, it's the most decentralized, the most secure right now, and this narrative works in some cases. So yeah, I'm really not sure about how it's going to unfold, and I'm also curious in the ordinal space if, for example, Bitcoin moons and one sat starts getting valued to a few $1,000s. What will happen to the ordinal that is inscribed on it? Like, will it follow the value of the sat, the underlying sat, or will it get flipped? These are like some of the questions that are like still unanswered for me. I'm not really sure about how it's going to unfold.
Yeah, but I think you also brought up a good point about user experience as well. I think when it comes to, particularly when it comes to sales volume, I think user experience will obviously play a huge role. And like we've said, we're seeing better tooling coming into the Bitcoin ordinal space. And yeah, who knows? Like you said, who knows what will happen when one sat becomes very, very, very valuable. How that affects the price and the sales volume in general. So I guess we'll all wait and see. But yeah, thank you for providing that insight to us. Yeah, Ray, you're up next.
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I am very optimistic about the development or the potential of Bitcoin project because, well, everyone knows Bitcoin chain was born as the earliest network and supported by blockchain technology, and its mechanism makes it most secure and reliable chain. With the breakthrough of the Ordinal protocol, that brings more possibilities to the application of the Bitcoin network. Well, however, objectively speaking, I found liquidity is really one of the factors that support the success of an NFT project. And currently, looking upon Ethereum chain, there is a vast number of assets already that creates this environment for it. And plus, the Ethereum chain is also developing as well. I don't know if anybody here knows ERC 6551. That is the newest particle that comes from Ethereum. So basically, simply saying, it's talking about making NFT a wallet. So my point is, Bitcoin, the ordinal ecosystem right now is developing like crazily. It's only been a few months, but right now, compared to it, honestly, it's only at a baby stage. And also, in comparison, liquidity is currently somewhat lacking in the ordinal ecosystem. So in short term, I feel like it's far from overtaking. But just like if you were to say, oh, who runs the world, Google or Microsoft, in a long term, I think I'm a bit biased. In a long term, I think Bitcoin NFT projects, it's possible. It's really possible to overtake the sales volume that on Ethereum chain.
Oh, so your team Bitcoin here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. But yeah, I think the point you brought about how the Ethereum blockchain is more when it comes to NFTs, they're more advanced. They've been here obviously longer. And some of the things that they've recently released, like you said, ERC 6551, which is basically token bound accounts, and like you said, making NFTs or wallets that can actually own assets. We actually had a AMA about that a few weeks ago, actually, where we really delved deep into the ERC 6551. And yeah, like you said, it's Ethereum, it's still the 800-pound gorilla, right? There's a lot of innovation happening there. It will take a lot of work for Bitcoin to surpass it, in my humble opinion, but you never can write off Bitcoin because Bitcoin will always be the OG. Yeah, very, very excellent points that you brought up. Yeah, I'll pass the question over to Mush.
Dang, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Okay, so daily volume, I see it possible, right? I think just the other day it was 400K short of of ETH, right? But you have all of these new builders. I have a lot of dev friends, and a lot of them are looking into building on Bitcoin, right? Building ordinals on Bitcoin, and kind of looking at new ways and all the tech that's over on ETH or Polygon or Solana or all of these other chains, and looking at how do they bring it over here? How do we make it faster? How do we do things better? How do we increase this and bring it forward, right? So daily, sure, but ETH has been around for a minute. Do you know what I mean? So total volume in NFT sales, that's a lot of money. That's not a small chunk of change. Will Bitcoin have its day? 100%. I think one day it'll pass it, but in total volume, I think it'll be some time. And I think it really comes down to like I was saying earlier, one, community, right? But also what utility are you trying to provide? And then what chain is best for that utility? Do you know what I mean? So like maybe Bitcoin isn't the best idea for your NFT project to go on Bitcoin. Maybe it's better to go on ETH. Maybe it's better to go on Polygon. Maybe it's better to go on Solana. And so like that will play a big factor as well in pushing it forward. But coming back to your actual point, like if it was daily volume, yes, I think Bitcoin will see its days. I think it'll have a few days where like it really starts to pump and go up. Honestly, this is just my personal opinion. Do not take this as financial advice by any way. But like, I think it'll have its day. But I think like to totally pass ETH's volume, it'll take a while, right? Like ETH NFTs have been around for quite some time now, right? Like if you go all the way back to CryptoKitties, like that's a while ago. So like, I think it's possible, but total volume, I think we're going to have to see a lot more liquidity get pumped into the ordinals and out of the actual chain and into the ordinals and into these communities that are building on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like Ethereum has definitely, obviously been here for, quite a while now. And, it'll be very, very hard to surpass the all-time, sales volume. But in terms of, just looking at the like the 7-day, volume, we're seeing Bitcoin actually do really well. So, if that trend continues, and knowing, Bitcoin is the OG and of crypto, and people start kind of like FOMOing, and like you said, developers start building. Who knows what will happen? And I think the point you made about a lot of new builders actually coming into the the Bitcoin space, and basically taking some of the experiences that they've seen from Ethereum and other ecosystem. Kind of reminds me of the quotes about you can always tell who the pioneers are because they have arrows in their back and their face lying the face in the dirt. Essentially meaning that pioneers actually people who actually copy them and make whatever they've created a lot better. So I think that's a very excellent point. And we'll just have to wait and see. But it's glad and it's kind of exciting to see a lot of innovations happening in the Bitcoin ecosystem. We just have to wait and see. So right now we've kind of reached the halfway point of the AMA. I'd like to take this opportunity to inform our new listeners who are just joining us, to participate in our Learn to Earn program and collect stamp NFTs. Stamp NFTs are non-tradable NFTs that act as a proof of participation and can be exchanged for a tradable time capsule NFTs. So for every 3 stamp NFTs you collect, which serves as a proof of attendance, you can redeem it for 1 time capsule NFTs, which can contain prices worth up to 50 USDT. And you have the choice to open your time capsule NFTs, to see what you have inside, or you can also list them for trading on the Bitmart NFT marketplace. So to get started on that, please check our pinned tweet for more details. Remember, you have to stay at least 30 minutes, and also you have to fill out the Gleam form provided on the pinned tweet. So let's continue. Let's continue our discussion here. So do you believe that the upcoming Bitcoin halving is playing a role in the recent surge of Bitcoin ordinals? We see the price of Bitcoin and the entire ecosystem increasing, and we know that the Bitcoin halving is coming very soon. So do you believe that the upcoming Bitcoin halving is playing a key role in the recent surge of Bitcoin ordinals? Sue, we'll start with you.
Honestly, I strongly believe the halving will certainly push the BTC ecosystem. Bitcoin next halving will take place on April 8, 2024, right? But in the past, the last 3 halving have been followed by price increase. The last was on maybe in the mid-May 2020, when BTC began a significant bullish circle over the next year and a half, leading to an ATH of $69,000 in November 2021. Right, I really remember in the bull markets before, and so similar In 2016, the new ATH also around $20,000, and that's why I'm strong believe that Bitcoin having will push the PTC ecosystem now. But I think the more significant factor now driving its growth will be passage of BlockRock BTC ETF exchange trust fund. Because BlockRock enjoys the impeccable reputation, and they currently control about 30 of ETF shares. In the way, the BlockRock name is more important to real asset manager and almost all investor than the ETF itself. In the past, investing in Bitcoin on behalf of clients may be pose a carrier risk, more money manager, and it's possible that BlackRock ETF will change that. What's happened if I don't allocate 1% of your capital to the Bitcoin market through a trust vehicle like BlackRock Index ETF? That's why I'm really excited to widen the approach from the proposal of BlackRock ETF. And honestly, I'm optimistic about that now. Waiting where during the waiting time for the having Bitcoin, we need to get more the big market news to update on Ordinal chain in the next time. Very optimistic about that.
Yeah, that's true. When you start seeing the players like BlackRock, enter into the scene, and obviously they're going to be allocating, they already, obviously filed the spots ETF, and it's just, and when you have the halving also coming, that could I don't know. I'd like to hear what other people, the other guest speakers have to say. But in my humble opinion, I just think everything in the Bitcoin ecosystem will somehow get affected by the upcoming Bitcoin halving. So yeah, thank you for sharing that too. Vickaash, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the halving has nothing to play the role with the Bitcoin ordinals. They work on the block. So blocks are going to be there. Yeah, the price would surge because Bitcoin ordinals works on Satoshis, and Satoshis are scarce. With the halving coming up, there will be scarcity or deflation on the Bitcoin. So the Satoshi's value would go up. So that's the rule only that could play.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of the point, right? It will just based on narrative alone, just the narrative that Bitcoin halving is coming, obviously will lead to some kind of scarcity, and with that could, we don't know, but it could. So very interesting insight. Harraz, what do you think?
I think that there was a pressure, and like I was feeling the pressure before Ordinals, because I was like building on top of Bitcoin back in 2022 and 2021, and I was feeling that pressure of finding new revenue streams for miners to protect the security of the network. And I think that maybe this helped in pushing people to explore new ideas. And one of these ideas, maybe it's Ordinals, that opened this whole new world, and as like a solution to this, we need to find new revenue streams for the network, and security for the network. So yeah, I'm very curious of to see what's going to come next, and what will that open in the Bitcoin ecosystem. But again, this is like just a feeling. I felt the pressure. Maybe that pushed people to explore, and Casey explore this venture. Maybe that's not the case at all. I don't know what Casey was like thinking back when he was building Ordinals. But yeah, maybe that was like the thing that pushed or like made Ordinals happen in 2022.
Awesome. Thank you for that insight. Ray, what do you think?
Well, I think Bitcoin having absolutely that will boost the whole market. It makes people got really FOMO. The final halving is expected to occur in 2140 when the number of Bitcoin circulating will reach the maximum supply of 21 million. That long-term scarcity absolutely plays or contribute to the volume of Bitcoin. And also, I feel like Bitcoin mining is the main intent behind it, a part of it. Like the reward of Bitcoin is a byproduct of mining process that acts as an incentive to participate, in circulating the blockchain. I think this halving event may result in consolidation in the ranks of the miners. And also, speaking from Bitcoin halving, that's probably a bit not that relevant to it, but noticing actually the Feds are raising up the interest. In the US, people will start having like a real money to play with the Bitcoin. So I think that could possibly contribute to Bitcoin halving that makes people even eager more to be engaged in the whole Ordinal ecosystem. So yeah, I think Bitcoin halving will absolutely somehow affects the whole Ordinal ecosystem and makes more people want to play with it. That's my idea.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Me personally, I see the situation where when Bitcoin becomes even more scarce, to get, and you have these NFTs, coming up, that especially NFTs that have the utility, that could somehow, earn you some sats, some Bitcoin by holding them. When you combine that with the potential scarcity of Bitcoin, I just see a situation where like some kind of an explosion, like Bored Ape or CryptoPunks, like how just that scarcity factor could play a role, and with the right project, combining that scarcity elements to the NFT collection, and as Bitcoin continues to get even more scarce, like I think that could play a role. Not saying it will play a role, but I'm just saying it could play a role. Mush, what do you think?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna try to say this without sounding like financial advice. So like normally, right, when the halving happens, we normally see a pump, right? Well, what happens when we see a pump? We start to get more investors. We start to see more investors. We start to see more people getting into it and learning about the technology, right? So now Ordinals is here, which was never here before, right? So there's going to be more eyes that come in, right? And like we said earlier, Bitcoin's kind of like the OG. So what I see happening is more volume across all chains, not just Bitcoin, but across all chains, right? And normally when that's happened in the past, we've seen NFTs kind of with strong communities really kind of go up and explode, right? So what I think is going to happen is, and by no means is this financial advice, okay? But what I think is going to happen is we're going to have a lot more eyes look at us. We're going to have a lot more Web 2 companies come in and look at us, like across all chains, which is going to bring more eyes to the utility of NFTs and to the utility of Ordinals, which is then going to bring on more adoption. So yes, I do think, how do you say this without sounding financial advice? Yes, I personally think, not financial advice, that we're going to see a lot more eyes looking at Ordinals and NFTs in general, and how to implement this tech, because it is tech, right? How to implement this tech into a new business model, or how to use this to support people that are looking at getting into this business, if you will, and how to reward those holders that are supporting those companies, right? And I think people are really going to start to understand, okay, this is more than just a coin. This is more than just a currency. There's actual utility here, right? And that's when I think we're going to really start to see mass adoption, is when this education starts to happen. When you start having more of these regular people get involved, right? And then the FOMO comes in, and like you guys touched on, the scarcity, right? Because each halving means there's less Bitcoin being made, all of that kind of stuff, right? Which means there's less inscriptions. So as time goes on, I think we're really going to see, and especially during halvenings, I think we're really going to see a lot more eyes taking a look at what's going on. And just like me, when I first got into it, I was like, what's going on here? Why are people so hyped about this? Like, why is everybody talking about this? Why are my friends telling me to look into cryptocurrency, right? Because back in the day when I first bought Bitcoin, and heaven forbid I don't have it anymore, I wish I did, but I bought it to use on Silk Road, like way, way, way back in the day, right? The first Bitcoin marketplace, if you will, back when I was I used to be a really bad drug addict, clean and sober now for about 8 years. But what I'm saying is you're going to see this utility come out and come into play, right? And then you're going to have more people that get involved because of this utility, which is then going to upbring, I think, a lot more eyes and a lot more volume, because as more people come in, people are going to spend more money, right? And normally what you see happening is when volume goes up, when the currency starts to go up, it starts to flow into other things. So yeah, I really personally think that we're going to see more of an uptick in volume in ordinals.
You heard it from Mush. Go buy some Bitcoin ordinals. Just joking. No, not financial advice. Not financial advice. But you can tell he's very, very bullish on Bitcoin in general, and you could tell he said more eyes looking at us. That's that kind of gives it away how bullish he is. But definitely great points. Post halving or halving, however you want to pronounce it, there will be less inscriptions, and scarcity always plays a role. It's just common demand supply economics. More demand, low supply, price tends to explode. Not financial advice by any means, by the way. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Mush. So we will jump to the next question, which I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing what you guys actually have to say to this. But what upcoming development in the world of Bitcoin ordinals do you foresee or find exciting? Sue, we'll start with you.
Okay. Actually, in this week, we just focused on launching our first ordinal collection, because on July 17, Mokugyo BTC will be minting 555 rare on our launch pad, and I absolutely cannot wait to grab one. And this is just the beginning of the project. Then in terms of the product, we will campaign more than with the AI technology and new protocol in the future to make our access more interesting, and also will expand more ecosystem and campaign more partners to increase our market share, because now we already have a plan to make the in real life product, or to target China and Japan and Vietnam market, and talk about detailed scaling our project by assets. The ordinal collection is a starting point. In the future, we can deploy other collection or cross with other partner to cross-chain and attract players on different track. Also, we have planned to make artifacts on our side collection by adapt with the AI technology, because for Mokugyo we focus on ordinals and AI technology. That's why our dev team are working hard on this and learn more. With that, we can collaborate with more projects and hold more events in the next time. Important thing, community is very important for all NFT project or GameFi or other. And for us, each other can be the ZenGuardian, like me, to help Mokugyo organize mental activities, like tap anything, or tap, or knock, or other event. So when participating in Mokugyo world, user will have a chance to earn, meet up, and do industry activity together. This is the most beautiful aspect of Mokugyo that you might not find in other MFT projects. So in order to working on great and make the new journey appear in the next time, we also would love to collab with other project and can join more than Twitter Space and AMA. So hope you guys can support us, and if we can collab partner to expand our market, just DM me or and discuss detail. And thank you guys. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, definitely reach out to follow Mokugyo and Sue. Follow them for more information about what they're building in the Bitcoin ordinal space. Definitely sounds like a lot of exciting things happening there for sure. Yeah, and also personally, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with in the next couple of months. Yeah. Vickaash, I'm going to pass the same question to you. What upcoming developments in the world of Bitcoin ordinals do you foresee or find exciting?
I see. Currently on the NFT side, there are a lot of real world operations which are coming on NFTs. So it is more about real world business to NFTs operation. Ordinals need to have few more developments. Like Ordinals doesn't have royalties as of now, which I personally believe is a major point for the NFTs. Like it's a major unique identification or unique quality for the NFTs, that the real holders or the real or your inventors or makers should be getting royalty lifetime for the work they do. In terms of utility, there are a lot of utilities NFTs which will be coming on. A lot of utilities ordinals would be coming in a way, like if you have your well today, if you store it on Ethereum, you store it on Solana, so the metadatas, the datas are there on the blockchain, but at a point your JPEG file or anything is maybe stored in a centralized storage location, which is not immutable or which is not there for the lifetime. So after a few years or many years, when you talk about the long term, those things could get deleted or could get encrypted, or anything could happen to that. But when you have certain things which are very, very important on Bitcoin network and inscribed on the blocks, that can be recovered anytime from the blocks until Bitcoin is there. So I personally believe Bitcoin is going to be there for hundreds of years now, because it has a huge community. This is the only decentralized community with maximum hash rate of 2% owned by a single entity. So that's my take about the Bitcoin ordinals.
Yeah, I think you brought up a very interesting point about royalties, and how that is kind of lacking at the moment. When it comes to royalties, it's very, very tough, right? Well, a lot of people obviously believe, royalties are essential. Creators should be rewarded for their hard work. But obviously we know the kind of what's going on in the Ethereum side, the Solana side, other EVM, networks about zero royalties, how most, NFT founders, they launch the project and they don't necessarily put in the work after they launch, and then they're just enjoying those royalties coming, from the secondary market sales. It's a very, very tough topic, but I do think, when it comes to Bitcoin ordinals and, a lot of developers and people actually providing, like you said, real world utility, I think, having that royalties, could could be a very good thing, to add to the equation. So yeah, obviously Bitcoin, like you said, is here to stay. There's no denying that. And that's kind of, one of the key points about why, I think Bitcoin Ordinals is definitely here to stay, just because of how Bitcoin, was built. Yeah, so I'm going to pass the same question over to Harraz.
Yeah, so we are in the business of infrastructure. So most of the things that we are doing is trying to be agnostic to what is upcoming. We just build the rails, and people like use these rails in the best way they think they want to use them. But I'm particularly excited about few use cases that I'm seeing that are going to be coming in the next few weeks till a couple of months around token membership. So things that will allow people to have a token that will allow them to get a membership into some kind of pool or some kind of club and get airdrop using ordinals. And we are also looking at some new financial instruments that are coming to L1, to the Bitcoin chain, and like layer one, using ordinals to just facilitate the movement of BTC between different holders, and doing some kind of escrow based on these ordinals. So yeah, a lot of things that were unlocked by the ordinals, and I'm really excited about all of these products that are coming.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Membership and getting some kind of airdrops is definitely an exciting use case to NFTs in general. And I think seeing that being developed, will be very interesting, and I think it'll add bring a lot of value, I guess, to a lot of Bitcoin ordinals currently in the Bitcoin space at the moment. So yeah. Very exciting. Thank you for sharing. I'll pass the same question to Ray. Any upcoming developments you're excited about?
Oh yeah, I mean, from my perspective in general, um, we are keep focusing and searching what's the newest development from the tech to expand the infrastructure. Because like Chamcha already knows, right? We are a platform that focusing on improving the liquidity in the ordinal ecosystem. So initially, when we start building our platform, we are already, searching and researching all the newest protocols. We realized it's just been a few months, but the development it's really blooming fast. So from BRC 20, BRC 721, and then while we're developing the Chamcha ordinals, we found out there's another new generative BRC 721. There are new things coming up and coming up. We have to admit right now at current stage, there is a lot to build on tech side, obviously, to make the ordinal system or ordinal ecosystem fulfill and complete. But we are very positive because it's really fast. It's really, really fast. I'm hoping maybe, it's gonna be soon. There's gonna be BRC 6551. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think in general, from my perspective, it, we are mainly searching what's exciting, the new technology or new protocols to bridge other chains or make the ordinal ecosystem more complete. In Chamcha Ordinals is also developing more product and more service as well, which we could talk about later. But yeah, I think that's one main goal or main feature we've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, exploring the tech, bridging other chains. Those are definitely exciting things to look forward to. Yeah, and we have just a panel here in today's AMA. They're all like builders in this space, and they're all looking to move the Bitcoin space forward. So I highly encourage our listeners to go check out all the projects on this AMA right now. Follow them on Twitter. A lot of exciting things are coming up. Just go check them out. It always pays to be early. Obviously, we're not providing any financial advice. We're just saying that these builders here, they're actually they're kind of the early adopters, right? And they're kind of moving the space forward. So I highly encourage you to follow them. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ray. I'm going to pass the same question over to Mush.
Oh, what excites me? A lot of stuff that I'm not allowed to say, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of people building, right? There's a lot of people building. There's a lot of people that are going to be bringing, tech from previous chains over to Ordinals, if you will. I think the biggest part that excites me though, is the community aspect, because that's where I've seen projects on other chains either make it or fail. Some of them can have this brand new idea, this really cool, crazy thing, new to the whole chain, but they don't have that community aspect locked in. So what ends up happening is over time, they slowly start to go down. I am bullish on royalties, to be honest with you, because initial mint fund raises can only get you so far. And if you're not like Bluewheel, where you have an income source coming in, where you're already mining and bringing in more revenue, right? It's difficult to keep growing unless you implement some kind of microtransaction or something like that, right? But I do think that future-wise, we're going to see a lot more microtransaction things happening on the chain. I think we're going to see a lot more utility come over to the chain. And I think we're going to see a lot more ease of use, if you will. It's almost if you will, back in the early days where the internet was going to fail and it's a hoax and blah, 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 blah. And we had that one web 1.5, if you will, where everything was really hurting, if you will, for a UI aspect, if you will. There wasn't very much going on there. I think what we're going to see is a lot more ease of use come to the chain, and not just Bitcoin, but multiple different chains, right? And I think we're going to see a lot more onboarding. And, what excites me the most is having my old auntie call me and be like, what is this Bitcoin? That's what kind of excites me, right? It is this mass onboarding that it continues to happen. We continue to grow as a community, and not just one specific chain, but multiple chains, right? And having that come in, I think eventually what will happen is we won't divide ourselves between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the chains. It'll be, we're cryptocurrency, right? We're Ordinals, we're NFTs, we're all in this kind of together. And I think right now, like you were saying just earlier, following these builders that are in the space right now, these people aren't in this space because, they're not building, right? They're here because they're passionate, they understand the technology, and they want to see it come to mass adoption. They want to see that happen. So that's kind of what excites me the most, without divulging stuff I'm not allowed to say, if you will. But I really think that, the future tech and, making chains faster, easier to use, and more easier to implement in the real world aspect with utility, that's what excites me the most, right? Because technically everything that we buy and purchase today could be an NFT or an ordinal, or it could be tied into the blockchain where you can use a currency to build it. And I think that's what the OGs on Bitcoin really seen back in the day, right? And that's the whole funny thing of the memes that come out about Bitcoin, right? Is one day, it's not about selling it, it's about holding it to one day you can just use it, right? And so that's what really excites me, is moving us into a future tech, if you will, a future tech society where we're really understanding decentralization, and we're kind of giving power back to the people, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. I could tell the excitement from your voice. It's just we're all here. We're building. We're very excited about this space. Obviously, you're here for that reason. Otherwise, you would not be even in this Twitter space to begin with. But yeah, I think royalties are definitely things that it's definitely something to look forward to. And when it comes to the ease of use, making things faster, better, cheaper, we're seeing, like you said, I think it was Sue who brought it up about the BRC69, being built and making things a lot better and easier to use for Bitcoin ordinals. Just the whole ethos about blockchain. It all boils down to ownership. Giving back ownership to the people who actually create the value, and I think that's always something to be excited about. I think that kind of wraps that up. But in closing, before we actually leave, we'd like to give each speaker an opportunity to share any significant updates that you currently have planned for your product this year. I'll start with Sue.
Oh wow! I just sharing a lot of before for our product update, right? We just really want to focus on our product. With for the first Ordinal collection is next week with two launch pad, and then we are still working on to release mini game and II Buddha on the next time. And focus on build community now. Collab with Japan. Would like to expand markets like Japan, China, and Vietnam. But actually now our markets around the world, because we has already collabed with the Europe and US market, and every Zen really support us to speak our news on their community. It's very respect for them. Besides, we also to have plan to make the in real life product. Cause golden fish, this is a special gift, or the toys to expand and relaxing. Besides, we also to working on to make the one-on-one NFT. We has already working with the Azuki and Bings before for the one-on-one NFT. If you would like to collab with us to make the special NFT, our art team, because we are studio, so we can make the awesome art to collab for one-on-one NFT with you guys. And if you would like to, and if you are interested for this, you can DM for us to ask about the one-on-one NFT. I can send you some the example for this art, and I think it will so be high because our focus the artist and make our PFP or animation to viral in the next time. Yes, that's all for us now.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Very, looking forward, like I said, looking forward to seeing what you guys, come up with in the next couple of months. You mentioned some very exciting stuff there. Obviously, your Ordinals collection, coming up here pretty soon. You mentioned, the mini game that you guys are working on. Obviously, you touched on the one of ones that you could help, projects actually build. Very, very exciting. Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Highly encourage the audience to go follow Mokugyo, Mokugyo Twitter account to stay up to date for their upcoming mint. So I'm gonna pass the same question to Vickaash. Any significant updates you guys have planned for your product this year?
We are just launching on 2nd August. We are planning to come up in Gamma and yet to speak to a few other launch pads. So the update is that this is our first Ordinals, and we have been investors in the past. We have two funds. We have invested more than 150 blockchain projects, and we have been a part of Ethereum and other part of the blockchain, and we have been a Bitcoin miners as well. So happy to be at Ordinals, happy to be on the project side and to work for the community and earn along with the community.
Thank you for sharing. very, very exciting. Glad to see you guys building in the space for sure. Yeah, definitely go check out, Bluewheel Mining. They're doing some amazing stuff there. Yeah, I'll pass the same question to Harraz.
Yeah, so one of the biggest or major updates that we are going to push is through a partner that is doing lending, and he's just like put Bitcoin into an escrow, into non-custodial trustless escrow, and get a USDC loan that is backed by that Bitcoin as collateral, everything in L1 and trustless non-custodial, which we think is an improvement over other protocols and solutions that are there. And yeah, excited to push that update and this new release with that partner.
Yeah, exciting. Bitcoin as collateral. Yeah, definitely exciting, and looking forward to seeing you guys roll that out pretty soon. Vickaash, you had something to share?
Yeah, I think what Deep Lake is doing something is very interesting because I've been into Bitcoin since 2021. There is no decentralized lending platform for Bitcoin today. If you want to take a lend against Bitcoin, you need to convert to WBTC, and you have to send your Bitcoin to some exchanges or some centralized platform where you convert to WBTC. Then you go to Aave or Compound anywhere and stake and take a loans against it. It's a long process, and again, you get into somewhere into the centralized process. We are waiting for something to come on Bitcoin network for decentralized where we can stake Bitcoin and take a lend against it. So that's going to be very exciting to see.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that and for basically explaining how important that is. Having the ability to take a loan, or basically not selling your Bitcoin but still being able to get access to liquidity, and doing that in a decentralized fashion. Obviously seeing everything happen in the past, in 2022. Some big players, kind of, going out of business. Yeah, having that custodial, aspects to Bitcoin, and, being able to still get access to liquidity is something that will be very, very popular and is much needed in the space in general. Yeah, thank you guys for sharing that with us. And I'll pass it to Ray.
Yeah, thank you. So like on our product side, we now currently support all the functions like BSC20, BSC71, Inscribe, and Trade. And we also support Unisat and OKX wallet connections. Like right now, we are continuing to upgrade and developing more product features to provide more ordinal service, like tooling, like staking, and we even have several products are in our plans are developing. But I want to share the most exciting news is we are planning to launch our own tokens very soon. Yeah, so to kick this off, we will be holding a very big event called Bitcoin Time Travel that will launch on next Monday, 17th. And this time, the NFT holders will be airdrop our own tokens. That is really meaningful. And we are also planning IDO very soon. So yeah, that's the most exciting news I want to share. And stay tuned for more updates on the exciting developments.
That is indeed very exciting. And if you've been, if you're here up to this point, I think that's kind of what the price of admission, right? For just being here, to learn that, the Chamcha team will be launching their token here pretty soon. So, like I said, go follow each and every, speaker here and each and every project here, so to stay up to date, so you don't miss any of the upcoming news that they have. Chamcha, they're definitely, I don't know if you guys have checked them out, but they're definitely doing a lot of cool things. Go check their website. and learn more about what they have coming up. Mush, I don't know if you have anything. I know you're an advisor for Bluewheel Mining. I don't know if you have anything you want to share. Otherwise, that's fine if you don't have, but just want to give you the opportunity.
I'll drop some alpha if you want. Like, I'm sure Vic won't beat me up for it. So like one thing with Bluewheel so like I'll be really frank. Whenever I hear like, airdrop, BTC, like that kind of stuff, I've been in this game so long that I'm like so sus, if you will. And I got to meet Vic over in New York during NFT NYC. That's where we got to meet. And so I was like really sus at first, and I was asking him all these questions, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to advise. But then he started showing me like his background a little bit more and providing proof. So one of the things that Bluewheel has already set up, like they already have miners set up, right? There's 365 ASIC miners already mining, and they're connected to a cloud pool on Binance. So you can actually join the Discord, and you can even go and see all of the pools that are like all the miners working currently right now. And so like one thing with me, I was like, well, how do I know this is yours? Like, like how do I prove this is yours? He's like, well, I'm going to be adding more. So like Bluewheel hasn't even minted yet, and they're adding even more miners on top of that pool just to increase that hash rate. But I can tell you at first I was skeptical, like no cap, like I was, you could ask Vic. But like that's the cool thing is like you can go in there and you can track everything. And like one thing that I am bullish on is being really, really transparent, especially on the blockchain, right? Because it's really hard to hide things on the blockchain. Like you can see everything happening, you can trace it back, you can track it all the way to its original origin. So like that's kind of like my alpha, if you will. There's 365 out. There's more even being added before we mint, and we are looking at minting on August 2nd. So if you guys do want whitelists or you do want any OG roles or anything like that, please join the Discord, come into the community, feel free to ask questions. Vic is super transparent, and that's one thing that I really, really like about it.
Yeah, you hear it here first. Go join the Discord to get OG rows and be eligible to win some OG spots to mint the NFTs. Mush, you have your hand raised again?
Yeah. So like, if you are going to join the Discord, I'm not going to know if you were in this space or not, right? You could be any random person. So if you do join the Discord, I'll give you a code. Okay. If you join the Discord and you go into general chat and you say Mush has a third nipple, I will give you whitelist. Okay. But you have to go in general chat and say Mush has a third nipple.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go do that. So you can get a code. That's very funny. But yeah, exciting. To hear you guys, offer that opportunity to our audience, to get an OG role for the upcoming mint. Very exciting. To me, I really, respect, builders who actually have a business behind what they're building, and, they have a proof to show that they're actually here for the long haul. And that kind of sounds like what's happening here. So very, very bullish, very, very exciting. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. And due to time constraints, we're not able to take audience questions. But we really want to thank everybody for joining us today. We want to extend our sincere thank you to our, distinguished speakers who joined us today. As a reminder, we had Sue from, Mokugyo NFT. We have Vickaash from Bluewheel Mining, the founder of Bluewheel Mining. We have Harraz, founder of Deep Lake. We have Ray, the marketing manager at Chamcha, Ordinals. And we had Mush, who's an advisor at Bluewheel Mining. And to our audience, we greatly appreciate your time and for engaging with us throughout this AMA. We hope you learned a thing or two about Bitcoin ordinals and why they've been surging in the last couple of weeks. Do not forget to check the pinned tweets for instructions on how to claim your stamp NFTs if you've been here for 30 minutes. And also be sure to follow Bitmart and Meta Era on Twitter to continue receiving educational AMA content like this. And as always, remember to be smart and trade at Bitmart. Thank you all and have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Happy to be here today. Bye bye, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.